Welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
And this time, we're going exploring the world of love
Ooh,
in Korean poetry.
sounds romantic.
It is.
Yeah.
We're looking at this anthology called Azo.
Okay.
That's Nai An Wi Uju, and it means The Universe Within Me by An Jae-dong.
Interesting.
Now get this. He uses all this beautiful nature imagery to explore love in some, well, really unexpected ways.
So not your typical roses and hearts kind of love poems.
Not exactly, no. Though there are some romantic themes in there.
Sure.
What's fascinating about this collection is that An Jae-dong,
Yeah.
expands the whole concept of love.
Mm.
He goes way beyond the typical romantic love poems you might expect.
Right.
And he digs into family bonds, the warmth of friendship,
Oh, wow.
even a deep connection with nature itself.
I like that.
So it's less about
Yeah.
roses and chocolates
Uh-huh.
and more about the vastness of human connection.
Exactly. And that's where all that nature imagery really comes into play. He uses these metaphors to help us understand
Yeah.
the different facets of love,
Mhm.
how it shapes us, how it exists all around us.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
There's this one poem that really caught my eye. It's called Keeper. Keep. What's that?
Nice.
Yanpilgwa jige. And it means pencil and eraser.
Pencil and eraser.
Pencil and eraser, yeah. It's a really unique way to look at relationships.
I'm intrigued. How so?
Well, so he uses this image
right.
of these two tools.
Pencil and erasure.
Yeah, wearing down as they create and erase.
Yeah.
It's such a poignant metaphor for the way we
Yeah.
leave marks on each other even as time passes and things change.
It really is. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Even when you try to erase something,
Right.
the paper is never truly the same.
Right, exactly.
There's always a faint trace left behind.
Does that connect to the idea of
Yeah.
the marks left on us by relationships,
Yeah,
even the ones that have ended?
absolutely. And that brings up this interesting point about
Yeah.
the cyclical nature of relationships
Hmm.
that An Jae-dong highlights.
Okay.
Just like the pencil and eraser.
Hmm.
They're constantly creating and erasing.
Right.
And our relationships,
Yeah.
they also go through those phases of closeness and distance,
Mhm.
growth and change.
It's a continuous process.
It is.
It makes you wonder if accepting that cycle,
Yeah.
the impermanence of it all,
Right.
if that's part of appreciating the beauty of relationships.
I think that's a really insightful observation,
Thanks.
It's not about clinging to the marks,
Yeah.
but recognizing that they're part of what shapes the overall picture,
Right.
the story of our lives.
I like that. So, moving on. Let's shift gears a bit to the title poem itself,
Okay.
or The Universe Within Me.
Hmm.
I feel like this poem
Mm.
really sets the stage for the whole collection.
I think so too. It's full of these stunning natural images.
Right.
You've got birds taking flight, stars scattered across the night sky,
Yeah.
even the wind and the rain. He weaves them into this intricate tapestry of emotions. And all of it points to this vastness of our inner world where love resides.
It's like he's saying there's a whole universe within each of us.
Yeah.
Maybe even bigger and more complex than the one we can see above us.
I think that's a really fascinating interpretation.
Really?
It really gets to the heart of what An Jae-dong is trying to do here.
Okay.
He's inviting us to look inward, to acknowledge the depth and the complexity of our emotions, and to recognize that the capacity for love within us, it's boundless.
It's amazing.
It is.
Now, here's something I found really interesting.
Great.
There's this poem called Anilo.
What does that mean?
It's Bayori Dugusipta, and it means, I want to become a star.
Oh.
But get this, it appears 3 times throughout the anthology.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Each time with just slight variations.
That's interesting.
Do you think that's intentional?
Oh, I definitely think that repetition is intentional.
Yeah.
I think it's meant to emphasize the depth of longing,
Okay.
the desire to be a constant source of light and guidance for the beloved.
That's a beautiful thought.
Each variation sort of sheds light on a different aspect of that longing.
Okay.
Like being a visible presence,
Yeah.
offering protection, being a beacon of hope.
It's almost like he's emphasizing different aspects of that longing each time.
Exactly.
Now, we got to talk about the stars.
The stars.
Yeah, because they're a recurring motif throughout An Jae-dong's work.
They are, aren't they? It's like he's drawn to them.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they often represent hope,
Yeah.
an enduring presence,
Uh-huh.
a guiding light, especially when it comes to love. They become these celestial symbols of unwavering devotion.
I love that. So we've got love like a pencil and erasure. Love like a universe within us.
Right.
And now we're moving to love as a flower.
A flower. Okay, you're going to have to explain this one.
Okay, so the poem is called Inga.
How do you say that?
Sujansu eye, which means Suzanne's eye.
Suzanne's eye. Okay.
Now, Suzanne's eye, it's actually a type of flower.
Interesting.
And in the poem, it opens its petals to gaze directly at the speaker.
Like it's looking right at them.
Yeah, like the flower is choosing to see and acknowledge the speaker.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
The poem explores this sense of encountering a love that feels destined, like a love that's endured hardship and the passage of time to finally arrive.
Oh, wow. And he compares that to a flower blooming.
He does. And he mentions 1,000 years in the poem.
1,000 years.
Which is such a powerful contrast to the delicate beauty of the flower.
Yeah, it's like love has been waiting centuries to bloom.
That's a great way to put it.
You know, this is where An Jae-dong's mastery of these nature metaphors really shines. He uses the natural world to express these complex emotions and concepts that might be difficult to put into words otherwise.
It's like he's translating emotions into a language we can all understand.
Exactly.
And speaking of unexpected comparisons, there's this poem titled Gri Lush.
What's that one?
Bap Gatun Sarang.
Yes, Bap Katin Sarang, which means love like rice.
Love like rice. Honestly, when I first saw that title, I was a little confused.
You do, rice.
It's not exactly the most romantic image that comes to mind.
But it's actually like a brilliant analogy.
Really? Help me understand this. How does rice equal love?
Okay, so think about it.
Right.
Rice is this, like daily necessity. Something we need to survive, right?
Yeah.
But it can also become really mundane.
Yeah, I can see that.
If we don't prepare it with care, if we don't appreciate its nuances.
Right.
Just like love.
Oh, okay. So just like with rice.
Yeah.
We need to nurture love and appreciate its different flavors.
Exactly. To keep it from becoming bland and taken for granted.
That's exactly it.
Wow, that's actually really profound.
Right. And it speaks to this delicate balance in love that An Jae-dong captures so well.
I'm seeing rice in a whole new light now.
It's about recognizing that love needs both nourishment and excitement.
Oh, okay.
Routine and surprise.
It's about finding that sweet spot where love feels both essential and fulfilling.
Yes. He totally gets it.
He really does.
It's not always fireworks and grand gestures.
Right.
Sometimes it's about finding beauty in the ordinary.
The everyday stuff.
Exactly.
And, you know, speaking of finding beauty in the unexpected, the next poem we're going to discuss might surprise you.
Let's hear it.
It's called Ikasano. Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is, isn't it?
What does that mean?
So that's Raplesia Gatwul Seringam.
Okay.
Or in English, the wind that loved the Rafflesia.
The Rafflesia flower. That's the one known for its
pungent odor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like rotting flesh.
That's the
Why would the wind love that?
That's exactly what makes this poem so fascinating.
Really?
It challenges our ideas about beauty and attraction. You have this flower that most people would consider repulsive.
Right.
And yet the wind is drawn to it, loves it for what it is.
So he's saying that love can be drawn to the unconventional.
Exactly.
The unexpected. Even things that others might find undesirable.
I think that's a powerful message about embracing the unconventional within ourselves and in others. What some people might consider strange or off-putting about you might actually be what draws someone else in.
It's about celebrating our quirks.
Exact.
Things that make us unique.
It is. It reminds me of that saying.
What's that?
One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
There's beauty to be found everywhere.
I agree.
Even in the most unexpected places.
Okay, so let's move on to a poem that explores a different dynamic.
All right, which one?
It's called Aloha, or Namua Baram.
And that means?
It means tree and wind. I think this one really captures that push and pull we often experience in relationships.
I can see that.
You've got the tree standing firm, rooted in place, and the wind constantly swirling and changing direction.
Right.
Like two completely different forces trying to coexist.
Yeah, but they're also interconnected.
Oh, how so?
The tree, even though it might be irritated sometimes by the wind's unpredictable nature,
Okay.
it relies on the wind
For what?
For news from the outside world and relief from the heat.
Oh, interesting.
It's a beautiful depiction of interdependence. You know, how even in the most challenging relationships, there's often a need for the other.
Right.
A reliance that binds us together.
It makes me think about those relationships where you love someone deeply, but their unpredictability can also be frustrating.
Sure.
You need them, but they drive you crazy sometimes.
It's so relatable.
Right.
I mean, An Jae-dong doesn't shy away from those difficult emotions.
He doesn't.
He acknowledges that relationships can be sources of comfort, frustration, and that's part of what makes them so complex.
Right.
It's so real.
It makes you realize that even within those challenging relationships, there's often a deeper connection, a reliance that makes it worth navigating the ups and downs.
I think so. It makes me wonder, what relationships in your life have the same kind of push and pull dynamic?
Like the tree in the wind.
Like a tree in the wind, exactly.
The ones that bring both challenges and rewards.
Challenges and rewards, that's it. It really makes you think.
It does.
About the different relationships in your life.
Yeah.
And how they all kind of have this give and take.
It's amazing how An Jae-dong uses these nature metaphors to highlight all those complexities of human connection.
Yeah.
It makes you think about your own relationship in a whole new light.
It really does.
You know, before we wrap up, there's this one more poem I wanted to touch on.
All right, which one?
It's called Wheel Kuwiti.
How do you pronounce that?
It's Dangsino Naui Humanjimnida.
Okay.
And it translates to You Are My Hope.
You are my hope.
That one just felt different. Yeah.
How so?
Well, a lot of the poems we've talked about, they rely on these metaphors and symbolism.
Yeah.
But You Are My Hope, it feels more direct.
Okay.
Like he's just, you know, speaking from the heart.
A raw expression of
vulnerability and faith and love.
I think you're right.
It's like he's stripping away all the fancy imagery. And just, you know, getting to the core of it.
Just being really honest.
And I think it's interesting that it comes at the end of the collection.
Oh, why is that?
Well, it's like he's spent the whole book exploring love.
Right.
All the complexities and challenges. And then he ends with this.
With this.
Simple yet profound truth.
What's that?
That even when things are tough.
Yeah.
Even when love feels like
what?
A complicated bowl of rice.
Right.
Hope remains.
Hope remains. That's beautiful.
It really is.
It reminds us that love and hope, they're intertwined, even when things are difficult.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of light.
Guiding us.
Guiding us forward.
I love that.
It's a powerful message.
This whole deep dive has been incredible.
It has been.
I feel like I've gained such a deeper appreciation for love.
Yeah.
For all its nuances, you know, how it's just woven into every aspect of our lives.
It really is.
And what makes An Jae-dong's poetry so compelling.
What do you think it is?
He connects us to these, like, universal human experiences through nature.
Right.
He helps us see love reflected in the everyday things, like rice.
Rice.
Yeah.
The wind. Even in a rafflesia flower.
He finds beauty in the unexpected.
He does. It's amazing.
For everyone listening out there, what resonated with you most from our exploration of love?
In Korean poetry?
Was it the cyclical nature of relationships? The vast universe within each of us?
Maybe the idea that love can blossom.
Yeah.
Even in the most unexpected places.
We encourage you to check out more of An Jae-dong's work.
Or even explore other Korean poets.
Who use nature in their work.
And on that note, we're going to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
I like it.
If you could choose a natural element to represent your experience of love, what would it be?
What would it be?
A sturdy mountain.
A flowing river.
A flickering flame.
So many possibilities.
Let your imagination run wild.
Yeah, I did wild.
Until our next deep dive.
It's amazing how those metaphors can make you see things differently.
It really is.
Like suddenly, rice is a love poem.
Who knew?
It's really made me think about the power of language.
Oh, yeah.
And how it can, like, shape our understanding of even the most basic things.
Absolutely.
Like love.
Yeah. It's like An Jae-dong is giving us a whole new vocabulary for talking about something that's so universal.
And so personal at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive.
Into the universe of An Jae-dong.
That's it.
It's been a pleasure exploring these poems with you.
Likewise.
I always learn something new when we do these deep dives.
Me too.
It's amazing how much wisdom can be found in these little snippets of poetry.
For all of you listening out there,
yes,
we hope you've enjoyed our exploration of
love in Korean poetry.
And that you've maybe even been inspired to seek out more of An Jae-don's work.
Or to explore other Korean poets.
Or even just to spend some time reflecting on your own experiences of love.
And how they connect you to the world around you.
Until next time, happy reading.